It never ceases to amaze me. Good morning, by the way. The power some people are willing to grant to the police because they don't like the person who the police are exercising the power over. It doesn't make any sense to me personally. And none of the comments, none of the arguments that I've read made any sense to me. Why, if someone is not committing a crime, why should the police be in fear for their safety? Number one, why should they approach the person? Just why? Why should they approach the person? Hey, look at this guy not committing a crime. Let's approach him. And let's start barking orders and commands because we're the police, and apparently society's willing to accept that for some reason that I don't understand. So we're going to approach this guy, bark orders, demand that he not put his hands in his pockets or behind his back, pull our guns on him when he does. Because again, the guy wasn't breaking a law. I am all in favor. Like if the cops have this little thing called, I don't know, reasonable suspicion. I know that's a foreign concept to some of you. But actually, no, I'm really not fine with the reasonable suspicion standard. Honestly, if I had my way, everything would be probable cause. But I'm just a dumb attorney with an opinion. I understand the legal standard, and with the legal standard as it is, I'm more or less okay with reasonable suspicion being the basis for a detention, for a stop. And you got to remember, in Floyd Wallace's case, they did actually detain Floyd Wallace. So that's number one. Number two, you need an additional reasonable suspicion to search the person. And honestly, pointing your gun at someone is a seizure. And you shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to do that without reasonable suspicion. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. I don't even understand the arguments that people make. Like it's somehow acceptable because he's a jerk and filmed into police cars. Oh, and someone said he tried handles. Okay. Is it a crime? Can we just have the police enforce the law and not your personal fucking opinion for once? Wouldn't that be swell? Wouldn't it be swell if the police stuck to enforcing the law? Maybe if they knew the law that they were going to enforce before they tried to enforce it, and then they just enforced the law. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable to me that you guys are that willing to give up rights and just accept it as the normal. I mean, officer safety. Like, and yes, officers are more safe if you keep your hands in front of you. And they're also more safe if America's disarmed. And they're more safe if you're just in a fucking prison cell just from the get-go. Officer safety, kids. In the name of officer safety, they get to approach everybody. There's a law on the books now. It's called the officer safety law. No one can have their hands in their pockets in the presence of a police officer because officer safety. I can't believe the fucking arguments that you guys try to make. Can you prove he wasn't committing a crime? Oh my God. See, there used to be this thing in the United States, innocent until proven guilty, where the officer had to have probable cause that a crime had been committed and probable cause that you committed the crime before he arrested you. And it couldn't be just, I know we arrested the guy, but can you prove that he didn't commit a crime? I'm sure he committed some crime somewhere. I mean, maybe tax evasion back in 86. Maybe. It's fucking stupid. The stupid things that people will say to try to justify this behavior by the police. Oh, Floyd Wallace is a jerk. So I guess we just need to let the police have unlimited authority just to fuck with anybody any time of day, because there are people out there who are jerks. So don't worry about the law. We'll just skip that entirely. We don't need to let people know what could or couldn't get them in trouble. I mean, God forbid you're distracted in a parking lot, right? And you see a white car and it looks like your white car, and you're talking on your phone or you're reading a text or whatever, and you try the handle on it, and all of a sudden you're under arrest because you mistakenly tried the handle on a cop car. And you say, well, wait a minute. Did I actually break the law? And the cop says, you know what? This is the Floyd Wallace exception. You tried a door handle. You're going to jail, buddy. Oh, Christ. I can't even hardly believe it. And then one lovely commenter, and I'm giving you the full fat face for the effect. One lovely commenter said, but didn't you say that the police can lie? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. See, I know this is complicated because all these parts have to fit together. The police can lie to you. They absolutely can. But if they tell you, if you're like, why are you detaining me? And they say, because you're loitering. And then later on they say, well, no, actually, it wasn't because he was loitering. It was because he was trespassing, right? Then you can actually still challenge the detention because you got to remember, reasonable suspicion is based on the reasonable suspicion and articulable facts. There we go. Sorry, mouth wasn't working. The articulable facts that the officer was aware of at the time that he made the stop. It's what the officer was aware of at the time he made the stop. So what you could do as an attorney or pro per, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're challenging the stop, you can get the officer up on the stand and he says, well, yeah, I had reasonable suspicion based on X, Y, and Z. Then you can say, well, in this video, you said the opposite. Why is that? Now, does that mean that the stop is automatically invalidated? No, that's not the way the law works. The judge is going to get to determine whether or not the officer actually had reasonable suspicion at the time, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, you can use it as impeachment evidence. It can't be brought. There are rules of evidence for my simple-minded friends. And one of the rules of evidence, one exception to the hearsay rule, is that you can use the statements of a party opponent against them. And since it's the state versus you're a party, and so the state can use your words against you, but the police officer isn't the state. So you can't use the police officer's words against him, unfortunately. But impeachment testimony, you can. Impeachment evidence. So if he says something and you say, but you said something contradictory earlier, then you could bring that in as impeachment. It might not get you very far. And officers can still lie to you. They're not under oath when they're talking to you, etc. But anyway, that was for my small-minded friends out there who don't put all the pieces together, unfortunately. That's why there are attorneys out there. It's to put all those little pieces together. I give you guys oftentimes very simplified answers because the complicated answers kind of get past you. Like what the police did is bad. And then you say, but what Floyd Wallace did was bad. And I say, what the police did was bad. But what Floyd Wallace did was bad. Just hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. What the police did was bad. I'm not making any judgments on Floyd Wallace. In fact, I think in the video I said that, I don't have high expectations for him because he is an auditor, because he's not a professional. Who knows what all of his underlying motivations are. But I do know that I am paying the police. I am paying the police. And I'm paying the police not to harass citizens who aren't breaking the law. I'm paying them to enforce the law. And I don't want to be placed in a position where the police can come at me because they just want to be jerks. I don't like that. I don't support that. And because I am not a hypocritical asshole, I call it out when I see it happening to other people, whether I like those other people or not. Can you say the same? Thanks for watching. Have a great day.